So we've hit the live button. Hello and welcome. I'm Callum from Hairy Haggis FPV, and today we're going to be looking at, if you've not guessed it already by the title of the video, we're going to be looking at this brand new ZOHD Dart XL. Honestly, absolutely fantastic. Going out the water with how good this thing is. It really does. It's just awesome. I'm absolutely stunned. Absolutely stunned by this little model. I say little, it's big. Like we're talking 1,000mm wingspan. It's about 600mm long, and genuinely fantastic. Not had a chance to fly it or anything yet. I have been working today, so this is my sort of first proper delve into the thing. It is out of the box, but I'm hyped to build the anticipation. You will have seen the video of it all assembled today. If you're on the Rag the Nutsaw Facebook page, if you like ZOHD on Facebook, and also if you're one of my flying buddies and you regularly fly with me, you'll know that I have this. About it last night when we're at our Whoop group. So shout out to the guys at the Whoop group. And yeah, we're just going to dive straight into this thing. I received it just yesterday, and box was almost immaculate, to be quite honest. It doesn't ship in this box. Did ship for myself in a very large, what was a mini Sky Hunter box actually, and it was sort of just pieced together to make a box for surrounding that. Perfect condition. There's no real damage to this box. Some slightly squashed corners. That's about it. It is quite a large box, I have to say, but for what you're getting, for the price you're paying, we'll go over it. Quick shout out to some of the guys that are first in here. Alex Kerr, hello to you. Northeast FPV, good evening to yourself. Thomas Berwick, hello. And FPV Steve, I think I'd seen you subscribed earlier on. And yeah, if you know anybody that's into wings, give them a little message, and I'll be more than happy to for them to come along and have a look. Do let me know if the video is okay, if um, the audio is okay. For example, if I'm back here, is it okay? Can you still hear me all right? And that there. So yeah, you're all wanting to see what it's all about. I am working with ZOHD. I will make this a disclaimer. So I do have to write a review. I have to make a video and do a couple of Facebook photos and Instagram photos. So I will be trying my hardest to give the fairest review. They wanted it to be the best review possible, but we can only wait and see how it goes. So another couple of quick shout outs. Argus FPV, shout out to you. FPV Steve says radio check 5x5, happy days. And the audio is good, your webcam is a bit pants. Yeah, unfortunately, I am using my little laptop. I was planning on using my desktop computer, but it was playing around a little bit and didn't exactly like the fact that I was trying to unplug a mouse and plug it back in. It just went. So it is. I'm just letting it do its thing just now. It's just doing whatever. And from that, I'm just going to double check something. Try and get the other FPV camera, the other webcam, and we'll check that out. See if it works all right. I can't guarantee that this is just going to work straight off the back, but we can only really test it and see. Is there any way that we can change it? That would be absolutely perfect. Oh, maybe not. Okay, doesn't look like we can change the webcam, so I will look into it for the next live stream that I do. But apart from that, let's just get cracking. A couple more quick shout outs. Hello from a fellow scout. Oh, I don't know what made you think I was a scout, but okay. It's all gravy, my dude. Oh well, we'll just see how it goes. As I say, I don't know how good my webcam is. For an actual stream, I'll quickly check it out on my phone, see if it is very good. I do want, fellow Scottish, and we can sort of see. I might have to switch streams onto my phone, just to sort of see how it's going, because I know this definitely does have a better camera. So, let me just see how I could actually view my own live stream. I don't know if that's possible. Oh, maybe I can. So, okay, so it doesn't exactly look perfect, but it's going to have to do, unfortunately, for this live stream. There he is, GMAC FPV, hello. Straight into it, he's wanting to see the nose. Excuse that. This is, in fact, the nose of mine there, Greg. I don't know if you've received something slightly different. Is there something wrong with your nose? I did notice it does have this little poppy out thing, so you can fit a camera on that. So it is the same. Was there a problem with yours, Greg? I don't know. But do let me know. Right. Basically, I just want to get all the bits and pieces out the way first, and then we'll crack on with the wing. So you do get the full aircraft, plug and play on Banggood just now. You do get it for, I think it's around about 130, 140 pounds, GBP, obviously, with myself being in the UK. Like I said, I've got this one to review. I'll give my fairest review possible, and really, we'll just have to wait and see. I can tell you right now, it's pretty damn good. The back cover does stay on. It basically is just. I'll show you in a little minute. Once we start going over the actual wing itself, which is what we're all here for. Wasted 8 minutes and not even started. So we'll crack right in. The box back here, it does come in 3 separate boxes inside. So you've got one for your fuselage and also your main spar, which we'll have a look at in a wee second. It does have, the second box is your 2 wings and also your little vertical sticky up bits, your vertical surfaces there, your vertical stabilizers. It comes with fantastic little mounting solution they've got for those, I have to say. And your third box is your other bits and pieces. Currently, it is a bit empty, that box. It is there obviously to take a lot of space, so it's not exactly in the way. It's all about Karma has given a little link to the Banggood. Perfect, thanks, buddy. Your third box has your propeller, a little ZOHD sticker, which is on the back of my laptop now, along with several other FPV stickers. You also get some little foam inserts for the cameras. I will go over that soon. It comes with a nice big bit of Velcro for your battery or other bits and pieces. Also a good one, it comes with these little standoffs. If you do want to mount a flight controller in this, you can do so. I certainly will be, and we'll be going over that very soon. And it also comes with one of these 9 by 4.5 inch APC props. It's not the one that's in the Banggood listing, and it certainly isn't the one that's on the back of the wing on the box. I do think it is something that is sort of in the process of obviously just seeing just now what ZOHD has and what they can source. But personally, I think it's going to run pretty well there. How many front nose stickers does it come with? So you get the one here. It is 3M double coated tissue. Just a wee bit's come off there. But so it does have a pop out for one camera and the circle one for Runcam 2. And we'll go over the camera mountains quite soon. Yeah, so it does have quite a large prop there as well, FPV Steve. As I say, we'll go over the power systems and electronics in just a wee minute. It does have a pretty big prop, so hopefully not a whole lot of torque roll, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, it is going to have a bit of torque roll. And yeah, you do just get the one sticker for the nose. This is, I will make a disclaimer, this is only 90% of the actual production model. This was hand built, as I'm aware, by somebody in China, I believe it's come from. So there is obviously not the full production model, it's a review model just now. So there might be things that do change in the future. And us reviewers are basically helping ZOHD and Sonic Model to improve it. So that's why I have this unit here today. So we'll crack on with the fuselage here. And I'll cover everything from sort of FPV setups, your flight controller, where it goes, your CG, what batteries to use. So we'll cover all in just a minute, or in the next few minutes. So the fuselage we'll see here. Up the front, it does have space for your FPV camera, so it'll fit something around the lines of a full-size Runcam Eagle. That sort of HS1177 style. Does have mount for a Runcam 2, if you're familiar with those, the HD camera, and also the sort of size of a GoPro 5, 6, or 7 Hero. Not 100% sure on the Session just yet, but looking at it, I think it's either a Session or a Runcam 3S that would fit. What we'll also look at inside is the battery bay. So it is a very large battery bay in here, and you do get a strap pre-fitted, and it does have a bunch of markings to help sort of with if you use a certain type of battery and you're using it all the time, you can sort of line it up with one of those lines where you know is going to be the best sort of CG. So you could fit quite a large battery in here quite easily, a 4S 5200. It does recommend that you use a 4S 3300. However, with a bit of balancing and that, I do believe that we could fit a 4S 5200 in it. And to be quite frank, that's going to be a fantastic one. And I'm sure a lot of you have those batteries lying around, and you can pick them up on Hobby King today, actually, for around about £22 each. So definitely go and check those out. It's the 4S 5200 Multi-Star 12C pack, so check that out. I'm definitely going to get a couple and run it in this. Other things to note, it does have a couple of little very small magnets up here for the canopy to stick. I really like to see them slightly larger. As I say, it's a pre-production model, so they might change that after this video. You do have a fairly big hole in here for fitting any sort of wires, electronics, or that coming through to the rear section here. So you will see that in here, I'll come a bit closer to the camera, that under all of this wiring is a 30 by 30 stack for a flight controller or a power distribution board, anything like that. Or if you did so want to run a video transmitter in here, we'll cover that later. You'll see at the back here, you also get a 30 amp ESC. It's a ZOHD marketing. It's got on it 30 amp ESC, the Mark II series. This is something to do with their new planes that they've got coming out and new wings. It's got a 5-volt 3 amp BEC, and it takes a battery of 2 to 4S as well. So pretty good ESC, I have to say. 30 amps. We'll have to see how many amps it does take maximum. Full throttle on the stock propeller. So we'll see how that sort of fares up. There is around about 5 or 6 millimeters underneath the ply plate of the ESC there, Argus. Is the flight controller mounting on the C of G? Now, we will cover the C of G, and do remind me when I mention it later, and I'll have a look when we sort of put the wings on and that there as well. However, it does look roughly that it's going to be just behind the C of G. So you might have to tune your flight controller on the pitch a slight bit. Not too sure how much. But like I said, with the review copy, we can at least look at it. My plan is to probably put the flight controller a slight bit forward in here, only because I'm running a Matek F411 wing board, which is coming out another one of the Sonic Model products, which is the Mini AR wing. However, aside of that, I'm going to use that flight controller. We'll cover that quite soon though as well. So the motor here is a ZOHD branded 2212 1300 kV. I believe it's 2 to 4S. Again, it's part of their Mark II series that they're running with this wing. So I think it's basically their Mark II electronics, so their ESC, their motor, and also their servos, which is something pretty good that we're going to cover in a wee minute. The ESC does come with a 16 gauge XT60 on it. It is quite a long one. Pardon me. It is about 30 centimeters long, I have to say. So you can definitely run. So it goes from here all the way back to the ESC here, and definitely fit it in pretty well. Good point there. Can it house an APM board under the carbon rod? I'm not too sure how tall the APM board is, but it's looking, just as a guesstimate, it's looking around about, I say you've got about 15 millimeters underneath the carbon rod. So I'm going to have to look out for that myself when mounting the flight controller. I could put it a little bit back, and I reckon it would be okay actually. It's about 1 centimeter, so I would say you're all right there. Just depending, obviously, if it's got like sort of in on one end and out on the other, you're going to have to account for that. Because you're not got a lot of space. You've basically got around about 50 mil across in there. I'm just going off a guesstimate, as I say. I don't have a ruler to hand just now, so, and it saves me going hunting. However, it does look pretty spacious in the back end as well. So we've covered the motor, the ESC, the battery bay, the main sort of fuselage just now. We will come back to it as everything mounts to it. The hatch here as well, you'll see it's got a sort of grated bit for better cooling, and also on the back it has a grate that basically is just going to allow a lot of airflow through, keep your ESC nice and cool, keep your flight controller cool, basically keeps everything cool that you're going to have inside here. And that's happy days. You know, you don't want your ESC overheating especially. But I think if you're going to be using this for cruising or maybe a bit more faster flight, then you're certainly going to be A-OK there. Also to note, on the ESC, you do get a JST for hooking up any sort of FPV gear. Runs directly off the battery feed. So you might have to add a couple of capacitors on it. It does have a couple on the ESC, but just as a suggestion there as well. So we'll pop the front cover back on here. And we'll pop this back on. So this just has a little slot here. It just sort of scoops in like so, and then at the back end, I've not bothered to do it yet. There is 2 screws that you have to unscrew and screw back in on into this, which is actually wood. This back grate, it is wood, so it's just little wood screws. Personally, I would like to. I've seen it magnets myself, like the front hatch. I don't know exactly why they've done it, and like I said, with it only being pre-production, this may change. So we can really see on how it's going to work. Moving on as well with the fuselage, just before we get into the wings, you'll notice just here, it's got a very strange connector. Magnets, yeah, may mess up with your compass. To be fair, you don't really need a compass on a flying wing. GPS is fine. It's more in a quad that you would need a compass there. So the front hole here is for a spar. I believe it's about an 8mm spar. It's about 1mm thick. So you're looking at a 6mm inner tube and an 8mm outer tube. We'll come to that in a wee minute. This little hole here is for something actually quite smart. I like this. Something a little bit to keep your wings tucked on, or staying on that wee bit more. This main connector here, though, does have 6 little pins. So inside the fuselage, you do get 2 servo leads running off at each side. One of those is for your servo, obviously. The other one is for something that's quite cool. I'm going to have to dig into the wing a little bit to get it, because it is a wee bit of a pain in there. But once you see it, it's pretty cool, and it basically means that you can have your receiver and also your video transmitter out on each end of the wing. And you can still have it so that your wings can come off, which is absolutely fantastic in my opinion. It means that you're going to have a lot better video feed and also better RSSI on your Taranis or whatever you fly, FlySky, Crossfire. I personally will be putting an R9 system in this to go extra long range, so that'll be happy days. Okay, enough about fuselage. We spoke a fair bit about that. We got drink of a dark fruit, because that's what we need for FPV. This year, I'm no Mace Windu or Darth Maul, but that's your carbon fibre. Actually, I'm not too sure if it is carbon fibre. Well, let me think. I've got a multimeter sitting around here. Oh, hello, James. Nice to see you. Let me see. I do have a multimeter here, so I can tell if it's carbon fibre or glass fibre. Let's turn it to. This was a cheap Banggood job, so but it reads voltages, so that's all I'm concerned about. So what we'll do is just check that it works. So you should hear that beep. So if we hear the beep, that means it's carbon fibre. If we don't hear the beep, it's glass fibre. So it's picking up. So you know what that means. It's carbon fibre, which is great. Carbon fibre is in fact conductive, and the fact that it passes a voltage, that current's obviously flowing through this carbon fibre, means that it's good to go pretty much. Pretty good. Scott, you've not missed too much. Basically just covering the fuselage and a little bit of chat beforehand as well. Apart from that, you've not missed much, buddy. So don't worry, we're getting on to the best things now. The little things that I said that were pretty cool are these little guys. Nothing special. It's basically just an M3 screw. These basically screw into your wings on the inside, and it's happy days. it basically means that it's more secure, to be quite honest with you. We'll move on to the main wings now. These are pretty damn cool. And you're probably thinking, my goodness, Callum, like, even the wing looks awesome. Again, it's got the little clip there for plugging into the main fuselage. The hole for your, the main spar. And then it also has the receiving end for, which is metal, thankfully. It's brass by the looks of things. It screws into here, so that's what holds your wing screws in. So that's happy days. That. Couple more shout outs there. Will they interfere with your flight controller? Are you talking? What are you talking about there? Are you talking about those little these little clips here? I don't really think so. You can get them in and then screw them in, and they're fine. I will have to check to make sure that they do sort of definitely they are sort of okay. But I can imagine, even if, depending on how high your stack is, obviously, they may interfere. But I do definitely recommend that you do put them in. I will move my flight controller so that I can get them in and out because I like the portability of it. Yeah, so hopefully they do supply spares, even if it was just the one or the two. Happy days. We'll just really have to wait and see what happens there. We'll only go over the one wing and then put it on the fuselage, only because they're the exact same, just flipped over, mirrored there. So this big black thing that's sticking up here is basically your vertical stabilizer, or semi-vertical, because it does go off an angle. And it's very simple. On the bottom here, you'll notice there's like a skid. There is also one on the main fuselage. So it's quite like the Nano Talon. If you've got one of those, you basically just turn it and it can come off. Exactly the same setup here. These just remove just like that. Now, it's a very good fit, I have to say. It's definitely not coming off in flight. If you're basically slotting that in there, like so, turning that, that's basically locking those in, and I can give that a good yank and it's not moving. So certainly don't think that it's going to move too much at all. The servos that you get are 9-gram metal gear. This was something that I suggested to ZOHD. When I first heard about this, I says, look, put in metal gear servos, especially with a wing this size. You're going to have a lot of FPV kit, maybe an expensive GoPro. Definitely put a metal gear servo in them, because it's the number one thing that's going to go on a bad landing, or God forbid you're flying and then all of a sudden cut. Especially with these, if one servo goes, your whole plane goes, because of how the wings work with basically elevons. We've got a couple more questions and statements and whatnot there. Keep it always assembled. Yeah, I mean, I might do, but I like the portability. I like to put it back in the box so I can take it out places. Only if you use a magnetometer, methinks, but then again, a mag makes no sense on a plane. Yeah, magnetometer, I can't exactly remember what that does, but I would be using a barometer, a GPS. That's about it, really. Can you show the wing so I can look at the airfoil? Yes, not a problem at all. It does actually have, I noticed one person, oh, there we go, again, he said it. I wasn't forgetting you there, Karma. It doesn't really need reflex in the wing. It does actually have, at this end, it built in. So, in fact, it's got it on the whole wing, reflex built in. So, you don't need to put any on the elevators or elevons that we've got here. I know I was teasing you there. Do you need reflex in the elevators? No, you don't need that. And are these pockets in the wings for, say, other pockets in the wings for RX and VTX? There is. This little bit, I think, is actually already pre-cut out. I'm just going to grab a little knife and double check. Pretty sure they're pre-cut out. And it's the sort of size for something like an X8R or a standard Eachine VTX. I'll show you what I'm going to put in later on, but they do sort of look pretty good. The COG mark is here on the wing. You could probably see it just there. It might change again on the later models, but it's basically just this little bump here. And you also notice, just while we're here, it's got this nice big black bit of plastic. They've done that on the Mini AR wing as well. It's perfect for you if you hit a tree, just takes that wee bit more of a beating. And you also get a set of vortex generators in here as well. They basically, from what I understand from the rules of aerodynamics, is that they basically create a vortex, which is a spinning piece of air off the back of them, which is going to go over a control surface and basically provide it with a sort of better air, and sort of things like that. Just while I'm looking at the Elevons, they do actually have reflex sort of curved into them. They're actually curved up, and I thought that at first was something bad. I thought, oh no. Yeah, it's the exact same on this one. On that wing, they are slightly curved up. I'll give you a little look there. You'll see there that they do have reflex built into them. And it does come within the manual how far it should travel for aileron and elevator. So I think it's 12 millimeters up and down for pitch and 16 for roll on this specific wing. Apart from that, we're going to pop this little bit of foam off and see how big the bay is there. Yeah, they're going to re-energize the airflow over the wing. So it's basically just creating more energy over that there. Over the control surface and over the wing. So it's giving the wing cleaner air to provide a high pressure on the bottom to push the wing up to give more lift, and low pressure on the top to basically suck it into the air, like so. Now I'm just using a butter knife. Oh, it's already pre-cut. So I would say it's about 7 millimeters by about 30 millimeters by 50 millimeters or something like that. This little bit of foam. You can obviously use that, cut it out a wee bit more or whatever. The wings are quite thick, to be quite honest with you, especially at that point there. That's the sort of size that you're getting there, and you do get a pre-cut channel that is there for a servo cable that you could then plug in through this little channel here to one of the little servo plugs there. Put a VTX in it. I don't actually have a VTX to hand, especially not one that's going to fit this. So it's going to be a bit of a bugger, to be quite honest. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to look at getting a new VTX. I was looking at the TBS Unify, and that's most likely going to be my option for this one, because I've seen it go quite far with my own two eyes. That pre-cut pocket is sweet. I'll be running an R9 in it anyway. Perfect. Cthulhu FPV. I'm going to be using an R9 Mini, so exact same form factor, just with the little antenna poking up the way, for the best range possible. And to be quite honest, I've done myself 7 kilometers on the R9 system at 200 milliwatts. I've seen it done again, that same flight, by a buddy of mine, to 9.5 kilometers on 25 milliwatt using a Moxon antenna. So yes, pretty damn cool. Are those vortex generators staying there, or do you need to glue them? They do come in a little pack. You get 6 of them per wing, so 12 in total. They won't just stay there, especially after a bad crash. But to be quite honest with you, I would definitely glue them in. Just a little bit of E6000 or Yoo-Hoo, or I'm trying to think of the other brands that there is just now that people are using. But yeah, just a simple glue, even hot glue would be fine. Yeah, so 50 to 100 millis the multi-star packs, they should fit all right. Not too sure on CG for those, but once I get mine, I'll be able to tell you. Is there only one option for the vortex generator angle? Now, I was contacted earlier by someone about this, and I'm a little bit unsure about how exactly the angle works with these, because I don't exactly know how the different angles. There's no way of mounting it like this. It's basically just straight up and down. So I'm not too sure. I did see ZOHD. I'm going to ask them actually how exactly it's going to work, and we'll have to wait and see. And this one works in a combination of wing fence. Yeah, so wing fences sort of thing. I'm definitely going to go for a lithium ion. In fact, I'll show you the battery that I have. This is pretty impressive. It's a 4S 5200 26 650 pack. So it's pretty impressive. I'm also going to try it with a 4S 3000 20 amp 18650 pack, and we'll see how that runs there. Yeah, move some of the yaw wing waggle, yeah, that you get with these. Is the motor just screwed into the wood at the back? Yes, it is. It does have 4 screws there. Again, once we get first flight videos and that, we'll see how durable it really is. My hunch is the vortex generators are just for looks. Definitely does make the plane look very good. Again, I'm thinking the same there, Greg, that there's not going to be a massive amount of things different. I would actually like to see what the difference is, but to be quite honest, I'm just going to run them anyway because they do look pretty damn cool. Without it, it doesn't look very good. And personally, I like a good looking wing myself. So you can only wait and see. For reference, this here is my mini AR wing. I've not actually flown it yet with this Pagoda antenna. I've not had the time and it's not been great weather. Basically, all the guts in this are going in this wing. So that's a Runcam Split 2, a Maytech F411 wing, the R9 Mini R9 Mini RX, and also a GPS to do all the fancy long range stuff as well. The best way to test flight maiden, yeah, and install them after. I'm using on most of my models down to the. Yeah, I mean, we can only really see, as I say, once we see the flight footage. I'm just going to keep them on. I don't think there's much point in fanning around and seeing if they do work or don't work or whatever they are. So as I say, the guts from that are going in this wing, along with a slightly better VTX for slightly longer long range, because I now have better goggles than what I was flying before. Got myself a pair of Fat Sharks finally. It's just a pair of Dom V2, so nothing too special, but we'll have to see. Do you have batteries for the Dart XL? Not specific. The 4S 3300s that's recommended, I don't have them. I did think Multi-Star done a 4S 3000 or 3300. Couldn't find them on Hobby King. That's only where I was really wanting to order them from, but we'll just have to wait and see. I'm definitely going to try it with a lithium ion, and then probably a quad pack at some point as well, maybe a 4S 1550, and then add an extra in for weight. Our FPV asks Multi-Star 5200, will it fit in there? Yes, it will fit. We don't know yet about CG, if it's going to fit all right. Might have to add a bit of tail weight. We'll have to wait and see. Unfortunately, I've not got the time just now to get it fully set up and flying, just with the way my work is just now. And Sunday, I'm busy and Tuesday, my day off. We're getting kittens now. So yeah, it's turned into a bit of an interesting one. To show us a battery in it. All right, perfect. What I'll do is I'll go and grab my 5200, and we can certainly see it is a lithium ion, so it's a wee bit awkward, but we'll wait and see. Let's see, where is it? So here's one I made earlier. This is a 4S 5200 26 650 Litocala pack. I did build it myself, so I've done the soldering and an XT60 on it, and it does for a fueled pack just now. It's fine. I use it for my tiny whoops, for charging them out in the field and things like that. So when you see the size of the battery and then you see the size of the plane, yeah, it's pretty damn cool. 26650 question mark. Basically, you get the standard 18650 cells like these here that are used in vapes and laptops, things like that, and also for your Fat Sharks. They basically, we talk Cala, that's how you say it. They basically are a larger version, 26650. It's basically just the diameter of the actual cells themselves. So we'll really have to wait and see how this fits. I don't know if you can see it here, how I'm just going to fit it. Ideally, I would want it to fit in like so here, but it is a bit of a tight squeeze. I'm just more thinking for CG as well, exactly how it's going to mount. Take this off, pull the XT60 back a bit. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a hit or miss how this is going to exactly mount. So I've got it in here like so. We'll try it with the lid and see how it fits. So it is slightly thingy on this side. It's up a little bit. So we'll have to wait and see. Once I stick the wings on, we'll try it and see. 4S1P, yeah, for the maiden. I'm going to do the same. I've got 4S 3000 milliamp on the way, an 18650 pack, so we'll see what that means. Means fly fishing. Oh, very good. So we'll see how that runs. That's what I plan to run it with to start off with. Then we'll go from there. Hopefully this doesn't pull 20 amps maximum. Can we wait and see? That's why I want to try it with the quad pack first, so that I do know that I've got enough amps that I can draw out the battery. I don't want to overload those 18650s and burn up a new wing. So yeah, right. Get this on, and let's get cracking. Let's put the wings on, because we've been sat here for 40 odd minutes without even seeing this wing with the wings on. One of the main parts of the wing. And I don't know how many times I'm going to say wing in the sentence, but I'm just winging it, to be quite honest with you. So it is a very easy installation. It'll take you maybe a couple of minutes to sort of get it squeezed together, and all set up ready to fly. So you can sort of put it on your knee like so. Yeah, fully intended. It is exactly that. So it will take a little bit, and with it being so big as well, it really does take up a lot of space, especially once it's fully together. However, it is a bit of a nightmare, as I say. I don't exactly want to break it or anything, as you will all know. There we go. That's it together. So you'll see it's an absolute monster. It's pretty damn cool there. And I'm just going to allow that there as well. So, see, it's awesome. It's absolutely giant. And we're also putting the little wing screws just to keep that wing on there. And the same on this other side here. So yeah, I definitely think that I could get a flight controller underneath that there. Sort of fit in perfectly. There is a very slight gap between the wings, but nothing major that's really going to affect anything. Somebody's asking about a launch grip. Yeah, I love the look of it as well. It genuinely is epic. Check the CFG with your battery. Yeah, I certainly will do, because that's really the rest of the stuff's going to be fairly lightweight. So we'll try that in a second. Launch grip wise, it does have these bits here. Now, I'm not exactly sure how, in fact, yeah, that would be pretty damn good. Like so. If you're using iNav, definitely I would be using something like launch mode for something like this. With a full pack in it, it's going to be a wee bit more nose heavy, so it will be sort of a really good toss. The only thing I have bad about it is the size of the prop. Obviously, with a larger wing, you need a bigger motor setup, bigger prop. You could get cut potentially, so it's going to have to be a really good, quick launch over the head with the thing. But I'm sure you guys have been working on your arms, and you can fly it no bother. You can throw it no bother at all. It's not going to be a problem for most of us guys anyway, and ladies. So let's pop the multi-star pack in, or the multi-star. I don't even have one of them just now. Let's chuck this 18650 pack in and see. I'm not too sure how much it weighs. I'll have to check that and get back to you all. You could see if CG allows, we could put 2 of them in there. That would be some beastly pack. So, in fact, that shuts perfectly there. And it does. You will see it's actually tail heavy. Wow, that's really good. So that's definitely a good sign. It's tail heavy. So when that battery is in fact sitting right up here in the nose, it is a wee bit tail heavy still. I say a wee bit, it's quite a bit tail heavy. My ER wings just decided to fall all of a sudden. Let's try it here. You see now it's nose heavy, so we'll move it slight bit back. Definitely think that you're going to get a 5200 in here, I have to say. It's possible. It's definitely possible. So look at that. It's ever so slightly nose heavy. Wow. All I'm going to say is that is really impressive. I was a bit worried actually about how much battery you could stick in those. Now that is with that pack in there, a 4S 5200. I will definitely get it weighed and it'll be included in my review. Definitely could fit a GoPro in there as well. Obviously, it's not got FPV kit in it yet. It's not got anything like that. It's just stock plug and play with a battery. But that has made my night, I have to say. Guys, if you're going to buy or you already have one of these, what I will say is a 4S 5200. What's it called pack? 4S 5200 multi-star. I would go for the 12C, doesn't really matter. It's going to be awesome for this, quite honest. It's going to be absolutely epic. Mini Drat Killer, definitely it's going to give it a good competition. With having the GoPro in the nose as well, I think that's really, a lot of people are going to be really excited for that, only because I know one of my wing buddies, Matt, he was looking for a wing that was coming out or looking for a wing in general that could hold a GoPro Hero 6 or a 7, and there was nothing really on the market. Boom. ZOHD released this and he was straight on the pre-order. So he's definitely going to like it. I don't think a 5200 will work running a HD camera. It's going to be hit or miss with that, yeah. Depending on the sort of weight of your GoPro and that, we'll have to wait and see. I don't have a GoPro myself, or a HD camera. I said I'm planning on using the split. So I may in the future go and get a Runcam 2 or something like that, but just now I'm going to use the split because, to be quite honest, it's quite good. Yeah, my battery is only about 220 grams. I don't know how much the 4S Multistar weighs. Not too sure about that exactly. All right, so if it's a 18650 you're saying, yeah, definitely. You can move the battery of the GoPro and power it from the 5-volt rail. Yeah, definitely. You could put a 5-volt. I would definitely run it off a separate BEC with a capacitor. In fact, if it's a GoPro, it might be all right. You know what they're like; they're solid. Yeah, it's about 530 grams, so it is quite heavy. I think the Multistar packs, I'm not too sure on the energy density with those, if it's roughly the same, or if that's slightly better or what. I know with 18650s it is, at a certain point, but really we just got to wait and see just now, about what we can squeeze in and that. Underarm holding top loads of power, yeah. I mean, to be quite honest, you could do the whole, well, it's going to be a bit awkward doing that, but certainly hold it like that and launch it that way. But with the battery in, it does look like that's going to be the preferred method. And actually, that's sitting just forward of the CG. So there we go. Send it. So yeah, some people are saying that we'll just have to wait and see with the gram per battery and whatnot there. All I'm going to say, it's going to be pretty good. I'm certainly looking forward to sticking on my kit in it, getting it flying, and getting more videos out. If you've not already seen my YouTube channel, definitely check it out. You'll see this little guy has gone insanely far, insanely fast. This has done 100 miles an hour just. And you also see it's gone quite high, quite far. Honestly, fantastic. I genuinely do hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It is a new format for myself. I've only done a couple of live streams in the past, on Facebook for other drone pages. I do like that my Facebook following has gone up now, especially like Rag the Nuts Off with more videos that I'm posting. And also on YouTube as well. Thank you to all of my subscribers. Just recently, you've all been fantastic, I have to say. My channel has grown from about 80 subscribers to around about, I think we're sitting about maybe 120-ish now, I want to say. So definitely a big thank you to you all. If you do have any friends that have wings or drones or any type of flying, then certainly encourage them to come and have a look at my channel. My content isn't the best, it's not very well edited, but I do believe that the content that I do have is very interesting, and certainly has its own style and its own beauty to it, to be quite honest. Do you fly with Rag the Nuts Off? I don't. I've spoken to Matt a couple of times over Facebook and that. Never flown with him. He is way down south in England. I'm up in Scotland, so we have some beautiful scenery. This aircraft, I tell you, is going to see some fantastic scenery, especially coming into 2019, with some of the stuff we've got lined up, hopefully. So definitely, good show, chaps, will be fun. And if you fancy a fly in the northeast, give me a shout. Definitely. I mean, if that's the northeast of England, it would be a pretty interesting trip down that way. We're in sort of, I'm in Fife myself, up in Scotland, and we do a bit of flying up here as well. So definitely yeah, it'd be interesting that at some point. There's a few guys with wings up this way, and actually, it's starting to get to the point where some people are getting bored of about 5-inch racing and stuff like that. So we're definitely looking at more wings and whoops and things like that. So definitely very happy that it's going this way. It's definitely a way that I wanted to see this my hobby going. Um, you know, I'm quite happy that nowadays it's starting to progress more and more. Um, and yeah, I'm really happy that um, something that I enjoy is getting a lot of attention as well with my mini AR wing, with my hoop videos, and also with this. I started just a bit of background about myself. I started RC flying when I was 14 years old. I soloed at the age of 14 and a half, where I got my Scottish Aeromodders Association bronze, which meant I could fly solo at 14 years old, might I add. Um, and then I've progressed on to fly air shows with the Air Cadets, with model aircraft that I've had petrol engines, things like that. Up until last September when I left, I then progressed on to drones in October of that year, 2017. And from there, I was still flying wings. Then I got my a couple of wings this year, specifically a Nano Talon, a Micro Sky Hunter, which I've now sold, because personally I don't use those sort of wings now. However, there he is. The Mini R wing, that was a great buy. Pre-ordered that, and the price I paid for it was crazy, for what I got. And to be quite fair, I'm progressing through FPV now and thoroughly enjoying it. To the point that I've got a plane to review. Um, you know, I'm really happy with the way things are going now, and I certainly hope to get more involved with more things in the future. Especially, I would definitely like to set up some sort of wing day, in Scotland specifically, and because I do believe up here we do have some very nice scenery that could do with getting some nice footage, and especially with our sort of craft, um, it definitely will be awesome. So, I mean, there's not really much else that we can cover with the Dart XL at this point, unfortunately. Um, so we are going to wrap it up here. If you've got any last minute comments, I know there's only 7 of us now. There was about 15 at some point. But I have to say thank you to everybody that's been watching tonight. Didn't expect to get as many people on as we have done, but it certainly has given me more confidence in live streams, and I certainly hope to do them in the future, whether it be with wings or loops or drones of any sort, or any other bits and pieces. Then yeah, I'm very happy to do so. So apart from that, I will have um, some other reviews and things like that up on YouTube, and a written review at some point of this wing, that I'm actually already in the progress of making. Going to work in the morning on a bus, and I've got a bit of time to kill coming back at night, so I can sit and write up a review of things that I've enjoyed about this, and it's already got a fair length to it already. So certainly looking forward to flying this. With it being a review copy, obviously we'll have to wait and see. But I will post as much content as I can with this, and I definitely hope that you all enjoy it. So, for myself, Callum, from Hairy Haggis, hope to see you next time, and take it easy.